At this very moment, XRP is worth more than $50 on South Korean markets. That's it, folks. In fact, South Korean banks and platforms have already shown that XRP has turned Bitcoin on its head. Look at this picture right here. What it says here is very old, but look at this picture. You can see that XRP has topped Bitcoin's price if you look at the spot market for XRP Bitcoin. That means XRP is first and Bitcoin is second. There is also a big black swan event going on right now, which is the globalization and acceptance of XRP and the XRP ledger all over the world. In fact, if you look at XRP as a whole, even Japan has said that all of its banks will use XRP by the end of 2025, which is in 30 days. Because that could be legal in 30 days. Look at how it's $50 right now. And only in South Korea, $50.17 per XRP. If everything goes as planned, the $50.17 price for XRP could become the official price in the US, Canada, and most other centralized markets by the end of December. It could be Sunday, tomorrow, the next day, or December 30th when you wake up. You could wake up tomorrow and see that XRP is worth $50.17 right away. Widespread use and the trillions of dollars that will be released into the XRP system and into XRP by the end of 2025 are making this happen. Finally, you need to know where we are right now. It's December 2nd, so you can understand where we are. Following a huge recovery, the price of XRP is now $2.50. The price of Bitcoin is $90,000, and because we've teamed up with Uphold, one of the biggest XRP exchanges, we're giving everyone watching today's movie up to $100 to use to buy more XRP. So if you want to get some free XRP before the price of XRP goes through the roof, click here. That thing is free for you to get. Get some free XRP by giving this movie a like, comment, subscribe, and share it. Share it. Also use the link in the description to sign up for a hold and make a purchase. Simple steps that don't take long. Get some XRP with your money right now. Now let's watch the movie. The most important black swan event in history is happening right now. Big banks and companies like BlackRock, JP Morgan, and Goldman Sachs are keeping it from us because they don't want us to know that XRP will be worth $50.17 by the end of December. Big deal. And these institutions are really trying to lock it in for themselves. It's because XRP is being used by a lot of people and has now been approved by institutions, central banks, and states. Some examples of BRICS are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These are some of the world's biggest and most economically powerful countries. Recently, they wrote about XRP in a study and called it the best asset for digital payments. You guys can look at this on your own. The BRICS Formula of Economics paper has been made public, and it talks about XRP right here, saying that the XRP ledger and XRP technology are the best. There are many parts to it, and the US does not run it. It's always been clear that something that breaks doesn't want anything backed by the states. They want something that isn't controlled. These people have been talking about how they could use XRP technology to replace the SWIFT system, which is currently run by the US, and make it easier for all BRICS countries to send and receive money. Talking about other things, I've heard that BRICS wants to create a central bank digital currency for each country, such as one for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They plan to use XRP as a transmitter for these currencies. Please don't confirm this. You could say that the central bank digital currencies are based on the XRP system. You could then use XRP as a middle payment or exchange between XRP and that CBDC, which is also built on the XRP ledger. This would replace the SWIFT system, which they can't use right now. As a result, many countries in those brick and mortar areas aren't allowed to use the SWIFT system. This makes it hard for them to make payments, so they plan to use XRP instead. This would easily cause the $50 price per XRP, which is already set in stone because of this headline and what's happening in Korea. However, CoinMarketCap and many other big American-run platforms don't want to show it. So if you look at XRP, let's click on this, they don't include XRP price or volume in South Korean platforms. It would show that XRP is priced at $30 on South Korean exchanges. And you might wonder why you can't sell XRP at that price. The answer is that institutions in the US are stopping you from selling at that price because they want to keep the price of XRP low. If you go to South Korea, though, things will be different. You can now sell your XP for $30 or so. If we talk about wide-scale acceptance, look at what is going on right now. It's not just BRICS then, not just Brazil, Russia, India, and South Africa. It's all over the world. For example, China is another case. China, there have been a lot of talks about this, And rumors say that China is going to start buying over $300 million worth of XRP to build a crypto strategic reserve that can compete with the US. This is what actually made President Donald Trump of the United States say in public that we are not going to let China be number one. We are going to fund a crypto strategic reserve for the US instead, and we are going to buy up all of these American coins, such as XRP. In fact, XRP is the most popular cryptocurrency in the United States. Remember that you need to know that XRP is a decentralized tool, but the majority of XRP is owned by Ripple, a company based in the US. That's why you're having so many conversations. But once more, it's not just China. Look at this one. In fact, the whole of Europe wants to build a CBDC on the XRP system. The name of it is the Digital Europe Project. France backs it up. A lot of European countries support it, including the European Union, which is building the digital euro with Ripple Labs on the HP ledger as part of the CBDC. You can check this out. It has been confirmed by a lot of stories that have already come out. They are building a CBDC with the help of Ripple and the digital euro scheme. Now, it looks like this CBDC will be built on the XRP system. There's a huge banker at the Bank of Australia, also known as the Central Bank of Australia, who you may have heard of. His name is Black Swan Capitalist Verson. He said that he knows someone who works at the Australian Central Bank who said that the price of ACP has been set at several $1,000s. Also, if you look at what's going on, you can see that Europe has set the price of XP at more than $50,000. Europe has made it possible to pay with XRP and added Ripple to the project to create a digital euro. The digital euro is trying to take the place of the old euro and be used for payments instead. Also, it's clear that we're seeing that happen right now. Still, it all comes down to one thing. The price of XRP could reach $50 on December 31st. Because this volume spike is happening right now, and it will continue to happen until there is so much volume that it can't be controlled, at which point the institutions will no longer be able to hold the price. These exchanges will lose their power to control prices because people will move to South Korean platforms where we will then do business. That's why you might wake up one day and find that the price of XRP has changed on these controlled exchanges and these huge institutional exchanges. And now XRP is $50. You didn't even know it, but you've kept it from $2 or $3 to $50. It's likely that these institutions will try to get you to sell XRP before they have to use the real price of XRP, which is $50.17 right now. I want to make this point very clear. I'm not a business advisor. It's not advice about money. I always look things up on my own. I also want to talk a little about the $654 trillion market that is happening on the XRP ledger right now in the real estate and payment awards market. Everything takes place on December 5th. The biggest supply shock for the XRP system could happen in 4 days, 3 days from now. It's backed by an organization called Real Fine. It's using the real code, though. You missed out if you didn't hear about the real token. Institutions don't want you to buy this coin because it will make you a rich. The real currency is going through the roof. Take a look at how it's rising right now. The price keeps going up and up and up. Guys, right now we're seeing the opening of a $650 trillion market and the listing of real token on a global centralized exchange. This will allow over 5 billion real tokens to join the market and 40 million users to access it.